Wheels are made to run. Stars are made for counting.
Look at this.
And for
Oh my God, that looks amazing.
true.
It looks so good.
Sleep is made for dreaming, and I have dreams for you. May you never lose the wonder in your soul. May you always have a blanket for the cold. May the living light inside you be the compass as you go. May you always know you have my hand to hold. Stones are made for skipping, stories made to tell. Life is made for living. I pray you live it well. Learning comes from trying, so don't be afraid to lose. Songs are made for singing. I'll sing this one for you. May you never lose the wonder in your soul. May you always have a blanket for the cold. May the living light inside you be the compass as you go. May you always know you have my hand.
Sorry, I'm late. We're all making noise about how late. You okay?
Yep. Well, good afternoon. I would like to welcome all of you who have come today to be part of Andrina and Martin's special day as they celebrate their marriage. A wedding is always special, but today it's even more so. It's been a trying year and then some for all of us, and Martin and Andrina are so glad to be here and have all of you with them, both in person and virtually, to mark this occasion. My name is Marnie Rodberg. I'm a registered celebrant with the charity Humanist Society Scotland, and I'm delighted that Andrina and Martin have asked me to be their celebrant today. Humanism is a secular philosophy guided by reason, informed by experience, and inspired by compassion. And it focuses on the things which unite us rather than the things that divide us. And of course, love is the best thing there is. And so it's wonderful that we've been brought together today by the love of this couple. Martin and Andrina chose to marry in a humanist ceremony because they share these values. They wanted a ceremony that would reflect their happiness in being together, their love and commitment to each other, and their joy at having all of you share this day with them. They have chosen and written the words and declarations that they will make to each other, as well as all the elements of the ceremony to ensure a personal and memorable occasion for everyone. Their wishes are that the ceremony is relaxed, informal, and fun, that you enjoy the celebration and create memories that will last a lifetime. Above all, they want you, whatever your beliefs, to feel comfortable about the proceedings and to feel part of this joyous occasion. So sit back, relax, enjoy the ceremony, and feel free to take photographs. However, the bride and groom ask that you please don't post anything on social media until tomorrow. Now, Martin and Andrina would like to start by welcoming and thanking all of you who've been able to come from near and far today, despite the circumstances we find ourselves in. They wish to give a very special mention to Andrina's granny, Margaret MacDonald, also known as Toots, who unfortunately can't make it today. But they have given her a copy of the ceremony, and they hope that she is reading it now as they stand here in front of us all. And welcome to friends Lorna, Michelle, Fee and Grace, who are with us virtually on Zoom from around the world in Australia and America. Martin and Andrina have asked all of you here today because each one of you has touched their lives in some special way. They hold you, their family and friends, as a valued part of what they are as individuals and what they will become as a married couple. Your presence is a gift of support and caring, and they appreciate your sharing in this celebration. Your being here to witness the promises they will make today gives this ceremony meaning. The bride and groom would also like to thank the fine people supporting them today. Martin's best man is his best friend, Sam. They have bonded over the years over their love of Land Rovers, delicious food, and copious amounts of red wine, making each other their ultimate Sunday roast companions. Andrina's bridesmaids are Clarissa and Eliza, and her bridesman is James. Clarissa is Sam's better half. Andrina and Clarissa go way back to the glory days of Ashton Lane life and are now excited to be planning new, more grown-up adventures together. Eliza is Usher Sandy's girlfriend. Andrina and Eliza hit it off instantly when both couples started dating at the same time. They cemented their friendship over ultimate lockdown corner shop crawls, late-night barbecues, and Sandy's famous espresso martinis. James is Andrina's best pal. He and his partner David have been with Andrina through all the Glasgow adventures. From workmate to next-door neighbour, James has been there for everything. So that's why he's here with us today. Now, Martin's ushers are Philip, Sandy, and John. Philip is Martin's brother. Growing up, Martin and Phil had a very competitive relationship. This stretched from who could have the best car crash to who could make their dad the maddest. And even now, it's who can cook the best dinner. Sandy is one of Martin's closest friends. He can always be relied on for escalating a night out, which there have been many over the last 13 years. No evening is complete without Sandy turning up with a bottle of rum and a beef Wellington. And John is the man who goes by many names. Martin and John have been great friends for many years. They have been through it all, from glorious boys' holidays to plenty of great nights out. I think there's a theme here. Now, Andrina and Martin wish to give a special thanks to their parents for all the support that they've given them. Evelyn and Graham, Martin's parents. Andrina's mum, Vary. Andrina's dad, Stuart, and his wife, Lucinda, Andrina's wicked stepmother. And a big thank you to Andrina's brother, Tommy, who's made the wedding cake for today.
That's why it's so awful.
Don't believe him, I've seen it.
I won't be surprised if anyone throws up.
Now, we all know why we're here today, but what is the story of how it all started and what brings us here today? This is what Martin and Andrina told me. It all started in November 2017 while Martin and Sam were drinking in the West End together. Sam turned to Martin and said, "I have a great idea. I'll set you up with someone I know." A few days later, when Martin was in his bath with a glass of wine, Sam messaged to say, "I'm with Andrina now, you should add her on Facebook." When Martin found out who his new blind date was, he also realized that they'd actually previously been matched on the dating app Bumble. However, they never actually met. So, because while Martin patiently waited for Andrina to message him, he didn't know that this was never going to happen because Andrina didn't want to meet anyone outside her postcode. Around the same time, and after a boozy lunch at one Devonshire Gardens with a friend, Andrina also went on to meet Sam in the Drake. There, Sam told her that he had an idea. Now, I'm told that when Sam has an idea, you should be slightly terrified.
Yeah.
The next thing Andrina knew, she had a friend request from Martin on Facebook telling her that Sam was setting them up. After a week of awkward Facebook chat, a double date was arranged. Sam had set up a WhatsApp group and they arranged dinner for the 2nd of December pre-COVID and in an Italian restaurant in Finniston. When Andrina walked into the restaurant and saw Martin for the first time, she remembers thinking, yes. That's what she told me. Did she know his postcode then? Somehow that didn't seem to matter anymore. Andrina says Martin ordered lobster to look fancy, although he says it was so he wouldn't spill sauce all over himself. And when he asked the waiter for a spoon to help her eat her spaghetti, she realized he was a real gentleman. After a few bottles of wine and some shots of limoncello, and they were all on their way to the bar swing in town for some live music and the first great night of many for the full Monty. Now, at that time, Martin had been living with his parents in Killearn whilst renovating his newly purchased Hindland flat, which was under serious amounts of work to become the gorgeous garden flat that it is now. It will be ready in 2 months, were Martin's words, on first taking Andrina to see the derelict building site. After many dates in the tastiest restaurants around the West End and getting to know each other's friends well, Martin eventually moved into Andrina's Glasgow Harbour flat. In other words, he never left. With Martin working away a lot in Aberdeenshire and trying new business ventures, and Andrina closing her company, their first year together was a challenging one. However, they still managed to fit in many steak nights and Spanish holidays. Whilst they were putting together the finishing touches to Martin's flat, Andrina had some downtime to be the interior designer for the house and get ready for the arrival of their new puppy, Ollie. Move-in day and gotcha day were only 2 weeks apart, and the week after they got Ollie, Andrina started her new job working in London for 8 weeks and leaving her boys behind. Now, in early 2020, they went to Budapest for a long weekend. Martin had decided that that would be an ideal place to propose, and he carried the ring with him in his pocket, waiting for the right place and moment. Finally, after a whole day of sightseeing, followed by a dinner cruise with an elaborate 4-course meal and several wines deep, Martin eventually proposed under the Chain Bridge. And of course, Andrina accepted. Perfect. They came home for engagement celebrations, but all had to be cancelled with lockdown just 2 weeks later. But not being deterred, they continued to plan their wedding. And so here they are, having nearly bookended lockdown perfectly. Now, to love and be loved in return is probably the greatest key to happiness. And it's clear from their story that Andrina and Martin have certainly found this in each other. So in planning this ceremony, I asked them each what 3 qualities made them love each other and decide they had to marry each other. They've done this in secret. So what you are about to hear will also be new to them, I think, won't it? I'm going to start with Andrina. Andrina says she loves Martin's silly sense of humor. She loves that they can be completely themselves around each other. He makes her laugh all the time, sometimes with him and sometimes at him. But he brings a smile to her every day, even when she can't find one for herself. She loves how kind Martin is. He's always thinking of everyone around him. He's a great friend, son, brother, and dog dad. And she knows he will be the best husband to her and a great father one day, should they be blessed with children in their future. And Martin is the best cook.
No, he's not.
That's what she thinks. And that makes him the ultimate yin to her domestically challenged yang. She might pour a mean glass of wine, but Martin props up the deal with his infamous spreads. Now, this is what Martin told me, a little bit briefer.
I didn't realise there was a word count going on. Short and sweet, right?
But equally beautiful. Martin loves Andrina's eyes and her cute dimples. He loves her because he's a much better person today for having her in his life. And he loves how they have the same values and the same sense of fun. Now, isn't that lovely? Yeah. In thinking about the next stage of their lives, they also told me their thoughts on marriage. Martin says marriage is a sign of commitment to one another, knowing that they are in front of their families, saying that they are going to be truthful, loving, and caring to each other for the rest of their lives. It's a bond that says they are going to accept each other till the end of their days. They plan to start a family together and grow old together. Furthermore, he says, even if he turns into Graham's sword, Andrina stuck with him.
Love you, Dad.
For Andrina, marriage represents stability, family, and safety. She feels secure in her life with Martin. They're both committed to the words they are saying today, and they are aware of the compromises to make it work. They both know that they're going to be true to these words forever. Arguments and tiffs are bumps in the road, and they can both see the bigger picture. They are sometimes too similar, but they can always eventually meet in the middle. They both see a long, prosperous, and happy future together with beautiful children, lots of dogs, laughter, delicious food and wine, and being surrounded by families and friends. Adventure also plays a big part in their future, trying new things, new foods, new countries, and building a house and making a perfect home. Now, this brings me to our reading by James. It's an ancient Sanskrit text called Look to This Day. Would you like to come up?
Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence, the joy of growth, the splendour of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day.
Thank you, James. Such lovely words. Well, we have now come to the heart of the ceremony where the bride and groom will exchange rings and declare their vows to each other. Andrina and Martin, please turn to face each other and join hands for your vows. Martin and Andrina, today on your wedding day, as you promise to love each other forever, you are holding the hands of your best friend. These are the hands that will work alongside yours, and together you build your future. These are the hands that will love you and cherish you through the years. These are the hands that will give you strength and support when you need it. And as your hands are joined together now, so may your hearts always be. The rings that you are about to exchange are a symbol of the bond that exists between you. Your rings have neither beginning nor end. They look both inwards and outwards. They are an embrace that bonds without imprisoning, and a support that reassures without restricting. Your rings are a sign of the unending love you are pledging to each other on this day, and your vows are the beginning of the next stage of your lives together. Now, Sam, will you please give Andrina's ring to Martin? Martin, as you place the ring on Andrina's finger, will you please repeat after me? I, Martin Russell Earlham Sword,
I, Martin Russell Earlham Sword,
choose and accept you, Andrina Martin Gregg, to be my wife.
choose and accept you, Andrina Martin Gregg, to be my wife.
To love you in good times and bad,
To love you in good times and bad,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in sickness and in health.
in sickness and in health.
I promise to cherish you
I promise to cherish you
and be faithful to you
and be faithful to you
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live.
This ring is a token of my love.
This ring is a token of my love.
I give it to you
I give it to you
as a symbol of my promises to you today.
as a symbol of my promises to you today,
And with all that I have
and with all that I have
and all that I am.
and all that I am.
Perfect. Thank you. And now, Sam, will you please give Martin's ring to Andrina? Andrina, please place Martin's ring on his finger as you repeat after me. I, Andrina Martin Gregg,
I, Andrina Martin Gregg,
choose and accept you, Martin Earlham Sword,
choose and accept you, Martin Russell Earlham Sword,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
to love you in good times and bad,
to love you in good times and in bad,
for better or for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in sickness and in health.
in sickness and in health.
I promise to cherish you
I promise to cherish you
and be faithful to you
and be faithful to you
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live.
This ring is a token of my love.
This ring is a token of my love.
I give it to you
I give it to you
as a symbol of my promises to you today.
as a symbol of my promises to you today,
And with all that I am
and with all that I am
and all that I have.
and all that I have.
And now, families and friends, the groom and bride would also like your blessing in supporting them today and forever. If you agree with their union, will you please say "we do" loudly and clearly? We do! Thank you all for your resounding support. Now that's good, isn't it? Andrina and Martin, you have pledged your love, respect, and commitment for each other. You have promised to stand by each other through whatever your lives together may bring. You have both made a solemn and sincere declaration of your commitment to each other in the presence of family and friends. Martin Russell Earlham Sword and Andrina Martin Gregg, by virtue of the declarations you have made in my presence and in the presence of both your witnesses and guests, I have much pleasure in declaring you married and pronouncing you husband and wife. And you may kiss. Congratulations.
Hearts are made for giving. I've given mine to you. May never lose the wonder
banish Marston agus Andrina. An Toshach. Shar Gaelic Vrista na Gaelic na Hista. Danny Ro, Rulich and Tag. Ben agus Clive. Ha Marston, a Ven a Clive, a Ven Tag. Hagus Andrina a Clive Hag. And show, Bianic Posse, tradition to Gaelic. Sul Fata, Sonagu. Do Colin, Fallon Slan. Do Vogan Vonja, Schneer Aun. Do Kishta Vina Lan. Well, I hope you understood at least the first word. And maybe the last word I'll give. But I'll translate the rest for you. First, an apology. And I hope there's no other Gaelic speakers in the room. But it's better broken Gaelic than Gaelic in the coffin. And then a Gaelic proverb. Two things are very difficult to choose. A wife and a sword. Martin has chosen his wife, and Andrina has chosen her sword. And here's a traditional Gaelic wedding blessing. May you have a long and happy life, a sound and healthy body, a cottage that doesn't leak, and a meal chest that's always full. A Varston and Andrina, Slanjamore.
Right, these are hard boots to follow, I'm afraid. I'm going to do my speech in Klingon and English, but let me just, I can't do this. How did you do this, Willie? I'm not using cards and I'm not using my... It's only a few pages, don't worry. It only goes on, I timed it last night, it only goes on for 1 hour 30, so you should get drinks all around. Anyway, hello and welcome to everybody. What a fantastic place this is, the Botanic Gardens. And it's more than a place, it's a palatial garden. It's a place where my family have known for the last few hundred years, who lived round about, and we spent many a happy day here. And as Andrina knows, she spent many happy days here as a kid, you know. So, in fact, oh, hold on.
Jump into the best bit already.
I've also said, look, what a sensational centrepiece we have today. Beautiful and sensational centrepiece. And also, I've also forgot to say, and accompanied by Martin's lovely parents. The lovely Evelyn and Graham. My wife and the aforementioned wicked stepmother. And of course, wee Tommy over there. You're very welcome him as well. And of course, who you've met, Andrina's mum, Vary. But so there we go. Now, everybody's such fantastic people here today, and you've generated such a fantastic atmosphere. But one thing I was determined not to do during this little speech was just not to get too soppy, you know, because it's easy, as most of you will know who have kids or been through this, whatever, it's easy to get soppy. But, you know, being a parent, you know, you do have the privilege of having a loving relationship, sometimes complex and all the rest of it, but you do have that kind of loving relationship. So we all know that being a parent and parenting can sometimes be tricky and difficult and exhausting, particularly when it comes to the basics. Like, for example, I've made a wee list here. Cleaning up after them, changing nappies, winding them, drying their tears, comforting them, calling the doctor in the middle of the night. But that's enough about Andrina's 18th birthday party. I'll get on. I shouldn't really bring these things up, but anyway. Right, as I said, I'm so pleased that, I'm so pleased that we're at the Botanics today, because Andrina is familiar with the Botanics. And a lot of you won't know this, but Andrina had one of our very first swimming lessons here in the Botanics. Just up the hill outside Inverleith House is a decorative pond. And many years ago, I think Andrina was about 8 or 9 year old, she was running round and round the wall, and she was told many times to be careful, but she didn't listen. As kids do, they didn't listen. I hope you'll listen to this, Tommy. So anyway, she carried on, and then inevitably, splash. She fell into the pond, and it was actually quite a tragic moment, but we both did laugh and cry. I'll tell you which way round it was later on. But it was a moment when we... I've got my Billy Connolly book of heckler comments, so you better watch out. But it was quite a moment, actually. It was, the way I've described it is that merriment turning to grief, and from innocent joy to tragedy, from hero to zero. It was quite a moment. But the point of reminding you all of that moment in time is that, because these are special moments that happen that, maybe don't mean too much to everybody else, but certainly mean a lot to Andrina and I and people who witnessed it at the time. And these are the moments that you really treasure, and it transcends time and space. And it's just, we now look back at that with such great humour and fondness, and it is, absolutely fantastic. So that's the connection between here and the Botanics. But the whole thing about about experiencing, having a shared experience like that, is to witness, the child development and the character development that you go through, and it's all about cutting the apron strings, the ethereal apron strings, and that is kind of like really what the theme I really wanted to sort of, because today's kind of, as you know, is the last one. But just to fast forward a little bit, another one of these significant moments was a few years ago now, but it was one of the most surreal days of my life, when I was working for a day or two at Prestwick Airport with an Elvis impersonator.
Come on now.
He's performing later.
Brilliant. However, it wasn't going well, as you are testament to, because they had sent along a very poor Elvis impersonator for our film crew. Right? He was more like a glove puppet version, Anyway, so we're in the middle of all this, and things are going wrong, and it's getting very tense, and people are throwing tantrums, and here we are creating this fantasy world, and the phone goes. Oh dear, my phone's gone. Thinking it's the actors' agency, saying we'll send another Elvis along in a minute, but no, it's Andrina's head teacher. Don't look at me like that. It's Andrina's head teacher. And I say, yeah, what's going on? She says, where's your daughter? I haven't seen her. She's not been at school for the past 3 weeks. Oh, wow. Some guilty faces. I don't know what's going on. And I remember just at that moment in time, just going into a kind of trance, a trance-like state, just thinking to myself, how has this happened? Where am I? What is going on today? And the teacher was quite rude and angry, actually. It was a head teacher, and she was saying that if this carries on, Andrina's going to be expelled, which was a nonsense threat, but that's what she said. So, I just thought, what am I going to say to her? And basically, what happened? Well, I'll come back to Prestwick Airport and Elvis impersonator in a minute, but I think you need a bit of context to what is really going on. Well, as a kid, Andrina was beautifully behaved, mostly, and she was very polite. She was witty, charming. You can tell I'm her dad. She excelled at school and had a major talent for art. She would spend her spare time drawing, sketching, painting, all manner of styles and with mixed materials, and mostly breathtakingly original. It was fantastic to see it unfold. She won a day out. She won a day out for her class at Butterfly. I've not started drinking yet. She won a day out for her class at Butterfly World for painting award-winning, prize-winning a butterfly, which was just fantastic as well. And she also won not one, but 2 Blue Peter badges. And also, one other thing, she also got to the finals of the Rabbie Burns poetry recital. She appeared on the front page of the evening. Her and her pal appeared on the front page of the Evening News. Is that what you're thinking, Carrie? It was a photograph to promote the Hogmanay Festival that was happening, and I've still got it in my house. So it's these little achievements. Oh yeah, and she was making her own fashion-conscious clothes. She had wonderful friends, mostly, and in her early teens, acquired a series of jobs, including at Debenhams and Habitat. Now, they're no longer on the high street, but I don't think it's traceable, But with her don't read it, Andrina, don't read it. Anyway, with her newfound disposable income, she found new ways of spending it. And I can see a few familiar faces. Claire, Jill, Carrie, and Lorna, who's in Australia. She could uncover a few horrible truths, I can tell you. But during that time, with our friends and skiving school and all the rest of it, I put it down to undoing another apron string, and it's another parental bond that has to be snapped. Here was Andrina saying out loud to anybody who cares to listen, I am here, it's my life, and I'm taking control, and I'm trying not to spend all of my earnings on booze, fags, hair straighteners, makeup, and going out. But I'm taking control. And she was taking control of her mind, her body, and her destiny, while seeking her own individuality and inevitable independence. It's wonderful to watch. But I suppose growing up and these things, we've got lots of names for it, like adolescence, transition, maturity, or just going off the rails, really, isn't it? But again, you start to realize that these are important moments, not to be forcefully suppressed, but to be nurtured and managed. And that's what we try to do during that time, and I think it can work. And there's the only advice I have to anybody going through that as a parent is that screaming into your pillow does help. And anyway, right. Anyway, so going back to Elvis. It wasn't you, was it? Because you look nothing like Elvis, which is exactly what this. behind closed doors. What you get up to, I don't know. But, so, come back to Elvis at Prestwick Airport, and Andrina, addressing the question about why she was absent from school, I asked the teacher, I said, hold on a minute, you're going to expel her. And if she's been away for 2-3 weeks, well, why have you not contacted me before now? Anyway, I never ever got a straight answer from the teacher or the school, but I did get the message from Andrina, and that was, school days are over. Oh yeah, that was a good point I was going to make. Yeah. Like, you're probably wondering what she did, Carrie, during all these weeks that you skived off and all the rest of it. And I do not want to embarrass Andrina on the big day, and a few people out there. But I could just refer you to what I said earlier. I'm here, and it's my life, and I'm taking control, and I'll try not to spend all my money on booze and fags and hair straighteners and makeup and going out. But I'm taking control, and so she was. A few months later, Andrina, we cut another major apron string, but Andrina was off to university via the Duncans of Jordan's art school. And it was there that Andrina, basically the quantum leap to adulthood had been complete, really, when she went there. It was great. It deserves a round of applause, quite frankly, I think. Just coming to the soppy bit. I'll just check I've got a hanky. So, just to fast forward a wee bit, nearing the end of Andrina finishing at university, we met up one sunny afternoon in Glasgow for a drink. And Andrina sat opposite, and she started to tell me the plans for her future and what she was going to do and how she was going to do it and all the rest of it. And as I was sitting there, I was overwhelmed. I just kind of realized that I was sitting opposite, a very sophisticated, highly mature, confident, humorous, charming young woman. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, and she carried on talking. And I sat and I listened, and I was bursting with pride. It was one of the Right, so as we know, Andrina went on to apply her knowledge and skills in the business life. She opened stop reading it, Andrina. She opened 2 fantastic shops, which many of us visited, and really they were fantastic as well. So, but she later gave that up, and as we know, she's now working for, let's see. This might be a bit tricky. She's now working for... She's now working for a Californian startup here in Scotland, right? But as only the Californians can do, she's a manager, but they don't call her manager, they call her captain. But... You've been reading this too, Martin. What did I say about hecklers? I would ditch him soon. And so, so from Captain Greg, from Captain Greg, Martin, it's now gone to a far more authoritarian and slightly spine-tingling kind of name, who also, she gets free entry to the Marvel Comics book of superheroes. She's now Captain Sword. Now, Sword is not the most common name you'll come across, probably. Many of you. But I'm getting used to it, Captain, and that's all good. But I think it's a fantastic surname, Sword. It's bold. What?
Do you want to say sharp as well?
Hold on. It's bold, strong, and sharp. Because I've heard them all before, apart from the next one, which you might not. So, right. So, where are we? Captain Sword. We'll get there in the end. It's a bit of nerves up here, you know. It's not that easy, you know. Anyway, I quite like the name Sword. It's sharp, blah, 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 blah. But I'm very proud. I've got to go back. Right. Got to go back 10 seconds and work your way in things. So, yeah. So I'm very proud to have it as part of our family tree from now on, the surname Sword. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I'm even more delighted that Martin is a man that is now part of our family. We welcome Martin with warm hearts and open arms, you know, and I'm so delighted that everything has gone so well, you know, up to this point. Yeah. And that's great. But if Martin looks after Andrina and any children half as well as he looks after the boisterous pet Ollie, then there's nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. But just a small word of warning. This is serious. This is a small word of warning. When visiting Martin's parents,
Hold that table quiet.
when visiting Martin's parents, phone ahead. Always, just phone ahead. And the reason is that Evelyn did mention to me when we met up that she's not averse to getting out our shotgun to see off strangers. Never mind the sword, it's straight to the firearms. You know? So anyway, phone ahead. But oh, I'm sorry. We should have.
Between you and the celebrant, come on.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'll just do your speech here now, just now. Fornication, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, I suppose this is a story. I'm getting to the end here. This is a story about letting go. But there is one invisible bond that cannot be broken. And I want to say this absolutely sincerely, that, you know, I will always love and cherish my wee girl forever and beyond. And that's one tie, you know. And we will now cherish Martin as well in the same way. So welcome Martin. So just looking at them here today, you just think, wow, what a fantastic future. What fantastic plans they have. They've got plans for making Tommy an uncle. That's what starts it. Oh no, it's not best man speech. Sorry. Also for building their own house near Loch Lomond. Not sure if it's high or low road, but they are building a house at Loch Lomond. But how utterly fantastic is that? And that's just amazing. So there we go. Oh, one other thing. If you are going to visit them in their new house in Loch Lomond, it's just safety gone mad, but phone ahead. Because you never know. Evelyn might be visiting, or Martin. Right, here's a really tricky bit. I believe that it's traditional to offer a bit of advice before you get to the end of the father of a bride speech and all the rest of it. So I thought, what is it? Yeah. I said, okay. Don't laugh helplessly when your daughter falls into a decorative pond in the Botanics. Put a lock on your drinks cabinet. Carrie, Jill, Claire, yeah. Now also, I'm saying this in code, as it's a bit of a risky best man dad joke, all right? But when using the expression, the pen is mightier than the sword, don't use the mistake that I made once writing it. The pen is mightier than the sword. It's many. But my real the pennies dropped. Table 2, pennies dropped.
Still selling it with some people there, right?
But my real advice to Andrina is giving advice is easy. So what I've decided to do is that I'm just going to carry on taking advice from Andrina like I always have done, and that's it. So on that note, I would like to propose a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Andrina and Martin Sword.
Right. I'd like to thank both my new mother-in-law and my father-in-law for those lovely speeches and those lovely kind words. So, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, on behalf of my wife and I, that went better than I thought. Right, okay. We'd like to thank you all very much for being here today. I can safely say it wouldn't have been the same without you all. So thank you. I'm going to raise a wee to you all. Cheers. Maybe not you, Cammy. I'd also like to say a thank you to the bridesmaids and the bridesman. You all look amazing. Today would not have been the same without you all helping my beautiful bride through today, so thank you all so much. So again, because I'm going to like drinking, and we're swords, okay, to the bridesmaids and the bridesman. I need a top up. Okay.
Oh, you want more?
Yeah, thank you, that's all right. You've had enough anyway. There we go. I'd now like to thank Andrina's family for all making me feel so welcome. I'm very lucky to have such amazing in-laws. I want to give a special thanks to Tommy and Andrina's not so wicked stepmother for the amazing wedding cake. FY, sign the dotted line if you get... joking. I'd like to take this moment to raise a toast to Andrina's grand Toots, who unfortunately was not well enough to be here today, but I'm sure she's got a wee gin in her hand anyway, so to Toots. I'd now like to raise a glass to Ian, one of Andrina's family's closest friends, who sadly passed away last month. I know wherever he is, he will have a large whiskey in his hand, toasting us today. So please join me in raising a toast to Ian. To Ian. Oh. Yeah, okay, top up. Mum and Dad. A.K.A. the swinging swords. I'm joking. Sam, again, I'm sorry for taking the line. All the bad. I think I speak for everyone in the room. I'd like to thank you for producing an incredible son. Ashley, I said a +1, not Cammy. Yeah, you've both put up with me over the years. I'm sure there's probably times when I got on your nerves. But I hope you're both very proud that you've raised an intelligent, funny, handsome, and most of all, modest son. Mum, are you crying? No, on a serious note, thank you. For all that you've done in the lead up to today, we couldn't have done it all. That's not just my day. Couldn't have done it without you. I know we've had a wee bits of heated debates, last minutes, yeah, but it's the way it is. So thank you both so much. I'm going to say it, I love you. Now,
Oh, here we go.
it wouldn't be much of a speech if I didn't thank my bride. Oh. If I didn't thank my beautiful bride, Andrina, what can I say? I didn't think you could look more incredible, but yet again, you proved me wrong. Cammy did just quite losing at his bet, but you simply took my breath away. And I'm the luckiest man in the world, and I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in raising a glass to my funny, caring, and beautiful wife, to Andrina. Who said Mazel Tov? So now, it's the bit that you've all been looking forward to. Actually, wait a minute here. Shit the bed. I've got to say one last thing, right? I think some cards were stuck together, but I'm going to quickly thank the groomsmen, okay? Because I've definitely missed out this card or it's left in the hotel room. But I'd just like to thank you all for everything up to today and also bringing me back from my stag do semi-unscarred. So thank you. Apologies, boys. John Fallon. And now the bit that everyone's looking forward to and I might go stand outside for. I'm going to reluctantly pass this microphone on to Sam, even though I feel like all his best lines have been stolen. So there we go.
I'd like to get a couple of formalities out the way before I begin. If you could please raise your hand if you're affiliated with any of the following. Stirlingshire Planning, Building Control Officers from Glasgow City Councils, or Godchildren from Gaelic. Good. At least no one needs to be asked to leave before I can begin. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sam, Martin's best man, and I'm actually the reason you're all here. You probably know that by now because all my party's been stolen. Martin, Marty, McLovin, McCloven, Bug, McMuffin, Jewbug, Marty McFly, Handles, Martin, Russell, Earlham Sword IV. Many names to many different people. I first met Martin when he was working in the Winnock Hotel in Dribbin, but he was obviously leading a double life as the fifth member of McFly the Boy Band.
That's what I go to school for.
The man was a wizard with a set of hair straighteners and some hair product. One of the many quirks we can definitely attribute to his older brother Phil. As you can see, Martin has a vast number of names, and with this also comes many sides to his complicated personality. Let me explain. Firstly, you have Marty, the kept man, which I believe is hereditary, who can nail a set of canopies. Who can nail a set of canopies and is a dab hand with a sous vide, making a wonderful house husband. I'm not sure if you've ever caught a glimpse of Indiana Jones, Martin, sporting his dog's leather lead around his chest like like he's in Milan Fashion Week strutting the catwalk, but in reality, he's plodding through Kelvin Grove supporting a set of love handles instead. Now, with Andrina arriving on the set, he has, without much persuasion, become a man that is into daily skincare routines and other self-care rituals, not normally associated with a man that works in a building site. Martin must be the only workie I know that starts his day with SPF moisturiser, beard oil, and when it's time to go to lunch, appears in the welfare unit, opens up his Tupperware to a full spectrum of sushi, patty, crackers, and condiments in his 12-volt freezer. It's no surprise the way to greener pastures and management. I'm sure it's a rough ride being an upper middle class man in the workplace with the roughy toughies. Secondly, you have boisterous, naughty Martin. Otherwise known as McLovin. Personally, my favourite. He comes out to play at any male-dominated occasions. I must warn you, this Martin is to be monitored carefully, as he's likely to cause playful confrontation, swiping chairs from beneath your feet, and is also likely to take a turn for the worse. If brutal force is needed, he will use his teeth. Nobody is safe from McLovin, and everyone is fair game for a physical attack or sassy remark. Now, we all know that Martin is teased for being tight. However, we were blown away by the Sword family as a whole and their philanthropy they showed by employing the lazy Mexican. He's in our presence to hear it today. John? Martin and his family supported John for a year while John took some time to reflect on life and occasionally mixed a batch of cement whilst renovating the flat in Hindland. Anyway, enough about Martin's multiple personas and more about Martin's best double act, Martin and Andrina. I mentioned at the start, you all have me to thank for being here, and this is because it was myself that set these two lovebirds up. It's been an emotional journey getting to here. From the Vale of Leven to the streets of Hindland. From Mayfair to Marlborough. From a Clio to a Touareg. In the words of the rapper Drake, we started at the bottom, now we're here. And what an amazing place here is. And I'm sure you'd all agree, today has been a glorious occasion. I think it's very clear to see what an amazing and well-suited couple they are. This is the non-PG version. Martin and Andrina's first encounter was a double date with myself and my wife Clarissa. And it couldn't have been more appropriate venue for a sword. Swing. A live music cocktail bar. From the first outing, it was very easy to see that they were perfectly suited, with their love of fine foods and wine, with an appetite for fun and bad behaviour. It was the perfect match. During the meal on the first day, I knew Martin was quite smitten from the start when he ordered the most expensive bottle of wine and lobster for his main course. I then nearly fell over when he boldly stated that he'd be picking up the tab. First impressions aren't always correct, I'm afraid, Andrina. Jokes aside, Martin is hands down one of the most loyal, dependable, trustworthy, funny, and generous of anyone I know. Martin quickly made his move with Andrina in all senses of the word. He swiftly moved himself into the flat at Glasgow Harbour, along with his sinus problems and a catalogue of chick flick DVDs, which I'm told is very impressive. given this lasted more than a week, it was clear to see Andrina was up for a challenge. Sometime after, when the Highland flat was nearing completion, poor John was told that despite building the ultimate man cave and successfully undertaking one of Glasgow's biggest land grabs a West End flat had ever seen, that he was now surplus to requirements. And Andrina was now filling his place. The couple moved into their lovely flat in Hindland, shortly followed by their fur baby Ollie. Well, the future's looking great for the couple, with a new house they're building together in Clare and the promise of the big cheque. The legend of this cheque makes tales of Bigfoot pale into insignificance. Its legend is something that we've spoken about for many decades. The bookies have put the odds at the appearance of this cheque somewhere between George Bush finally recovering the bomber's passport from 9/11 and Rolf Harris being allowed to perform his famous didgeridoo at the next Children in Need concert. My suspicion is the money is making an appearance after the wedding is finished. You're safe, Graham. I've been lucky enough to spend considerable time with both Martin and Andrina on holidays spent together, dinners out, which since the initial date has not been, the same offer has not been made of lobster and picking up the wine, dog walks and many fun outings, and I'm honoured to call them our closest friends. They're two of the most amazing people who I know will have a wonderful future. I can't wait to see what the next chapter brings for them. So if everyone could be upstanding, I would like to propose a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Sword and a lifetime of health, wealth and happiness. Cheers. Mazel tov!
I don't know if it was about the cheque or the actual speech.
You're right, Graham.
Please be seated. I am not going to make a speech, but I am going to thank Sam for one of the best man speeches I think I've ever heard.
There we are. Thanks, Graham.
And a further note to that, thank God he got him out of the house.
Oh, I'm ready. I've never been so sure, quite so steady. I'm gonna live my life to keep the promises I made, even though I make mistakes. I know I'm ready. I found a heart that was just like mine. Yeah, he makes me laugh and he lets me cry. Oh, he listens when I lose my mind. And now I get to go by his side. I'm lucky and I'm ready. I've never been so sure, quite so steady. I'm gonna live my life to keep the promises I made. Even though I make mistakes, I know I'm ready. For better or for worse, I'm gonna carry. We're gonna have our hurts, but it's the treasure of my life just to spend it by your side. I know I'm ready. Oh, 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 it's the treasure of my life just to spend it by your side. I know I'm ready.